What is up, Utah fans? This is Joseph back with the Utah Utes Football Digest. And Utah has signed Devon Dampier out of New Mexico. One of the big gets that comes along with the Jason Beck signing. Again, he's our new offensive coordinator. He's the offensive coordinator from New Mexico. Huge get for Utah. I'm serious, guys. Dampier is one of the most explosive, dynamic players in all of college football. We're going to dive in. We're going to break him down. We're going to talk about him. It's going to be a lot of fun. Before we do, though, please smash that like button. That'll help get the video out to more Utah fans. Also, comment down below. What do you guys think of Dampier? Are you thinking it's just, a home run hit? Do you have some concerns? I'm going to talk about the good and the bad. We're going to take a look at it. And again, it's going to be a lot of fun. The show is brought to you by the 1012 Network. 1012 Network sponsored by Charlie Hustle. Charlie Hustle, vintage made fresh, great clothes. Check them out, charliehustle.com. Use code 101215 for 15% off any non-sale items. Great stuff, seriously great quality. Again, that's Charlie Hustle, vintage made fresh. And if you haven't already, guys, subscribe to the channel. We put out a ton of Utah Utes football content. So if you're into that, stick around to the channel. Let's go ahead and dive in and let's check out Devon Dampier. Okay, guys, and right out the bat, let's dive into Devon Dampier's PFF grades because I think they really stand out and really impress. You take a look here, guys. This year, Devon Dampier was an 89.8 PFF grade. That is number 18 in all of college football and an elite, very high level grade. We're getting a good one here, guys. If you're not excited and you have a lot of concerns, this one number should give you at least a good amount of promise. Like that, it tells you a lot, guys. It tells you a lot. I am very excited about Dampier. I think he could be a great player. You look here, a 79.4 pass grade. And a 85.7 run grade. This kid is so dynamic on his feet and a very deadly passer as well. Guys, he really is an impact player and a guy that you should be very excited to have on this team. He played 877 snaps. He runs the ball super well, throws it really well as well. You look here on top of that, guys, in 2023, it's not the same sample size. I believe it's like 64 passes total. So probably roughly like 100 snaps or so in 2023. So definitely not the same sample size. But as a freshman in 2023, he had a 79.3 grade. And that's enough of a sample size to say like, hey, worth taking into consideration. Not a crazy sample size. But basically what this tells you guys is all the opportunities that Dampier has been given, he's done great with. And now we're going to keep looking at PFF, but now we're going to dive deeper into this to take a look at a deeper dive analysis of how he did this past year, guys. And here is the deeper dive. And one thing I want to point out, guys, this is the game by game breakdown for his offensive PFF grades. There's a lot of consistency here. There's some really good grades, but there's only one bad grade. And it was a game where New Mexico only scored 6 points, and it was against Colorado State. So let's not touch too much on that. Really bad game for him. But you look at that, it was clearly his worst game, and it actually affected his stats quite a bit negatively. This number right here is what's called turnover worthy plays, TWP, and he had 3. It was tied for his worst game for turnover worthy plays, and he also didn't have a ton of big time throws, which is this BTT. So let's scroll down, but I just wanted to point that out and just show you guys that there's a lot of consistency here. The majority of his game in, game out numbers looked very solid week in and week out. And then we go down here, guys. So this is 2023. You could start here. Like I said, it looks really good overall. And you see right here, so this is his BTT percentage. That's your big time throw percentage. And this is his turnover worthy play percentage. So that's like plays that could be interceptions. Like even if they're not an interception, it's like, hey, that was a really bad throw. You got lucky that wasn't an interception. Just so you guys can have a little bit of context here. But then you go into 2024, guys, and he just had a wrecking ball of an awesome season. And this is all about throwing the ball. We'll look at his running ability in a second here, and we'll do a deeper dive on that. But throwing the ball, look what happens here, guys. The previous season in 2023, his turnover worthy plays percentage is higher than his big time throw percentage, which is bad. That's pretty concerning. But then here he has more than a 2-to-1 ratio of big time throws to turnover worthy plays, 5.1 to 2.3%, and an exact 2-to-1 ratio, 22 big time throws to 11 turnover worthy plays. Very good there. You got to like to see that. His adjusted completion percentage, 66.6. Actual completion percentage, 57.5. So you'd like to see that a little higher, but you guys will kind of see. We're going to break it down more. He is a guy that does take some risks. And now let's take a look at his running ability. So looking at Devon Dampier's running ability, again, we go down here. Okay. So this, I believe this is plays of 15 plus yards. Let me double check that. Design run attempts more than 15 yards. Yeah, look at that. So designed runs for more than 15 yards. He had 18. This guy had 18 rushes that went over 15 yards. That is huge. Those are huge numbers, guys. Let's see what else here. The other thing I want to point out, guys, is 1,184 rushing yards this year. 348 rushing yards in 2023. So year in, year out, very consistent runner. And you look at this, guys, 19 touchdowns on the ground for Dampier. He is a weapon with his feet. 1184 rushing yards on the ground, 7.4 yards a carry. When I'm telling you guys, we are getting one of the most dynamic football players in college football. I'm not exaggerating. He really is a special player. Really, really excited, guys. 422 or 160 attempts rushing the ball for 1,184 carries, 19 touchdowns, 10 fumbles. That's almost a fumble a game. You don't love to see that, but overall, still just a very dynamic runner. I want to move back to the passing and actually show you guys those numbers. So 2,761 passing yards, 7.1 yards per attempt, and then 12 touchdowns, 12 picks. But what I like here is if you actually look in 2023, he had 6 touchdowns, 0 picks, but these ratios of big time throws to turnover worthy plays are significantly worse than in 2024, where in 2024, he's actually making a lot of great throws. It just probably his receivers weren't capitalizing on him as much as they could have. And his turnover worthy play percentage is significantly lower. And the ratio is way better here. So even though you could be fooled into looking at that and thinking, man, he just throws up ducks, he only had 11 turnover worthy plays, which is not a crazy number. I mean, to have one a game, less than one a game is really good. And I think as I dive deeper in these numbers, I'm very impressed with that. And it's something I actually I feel like it's gotten me more excited to have Dampier on the team. So that's the PFF. I won't dive too much more into PFF, but very exciting stuff here. Dampier looks like a beast. Okay, guys. So that was Devon Dampier. I'm super excited to have him on the team. I got to tell you, I feel really good about it. I also think there's probably some other New Mexico players not far behind. They were probably waiting to make sure Dampier was going to Utah. My guess would be they're going to follow along. And there's some good ones. Especially. I won't go into that. This is about Dampier, but there's some good ones out there, and I'm excited to see if they follow him over to Utah. And he's going to be with the same offensive coordinator. So kind of 2 birds, 1 stone. We're going to get the guy that made the offense dynamic and electric, along with the guy in Jason Beck that called the play. So we should get a very similar style of play as what we saw at New Mexico. There's going to be good. There's going to be bad. I want you guys to smash the like button. I'm going to give you guys my final analysis of Devon Dampier and how I feel about him as the QB going into this year. That was my first real deep dive on him with PFF grades, and I think there was a lot of good. So smash the like button, and then I also want you guys to comment down below What do you think of Dampier? Is he a surefire win? Or you think he's the guy? Is, all stations go, he's the one? So I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking. I know a lot of people had him as one of the best available quarterbacks in the transfer portal. I think some people may have had him as the best available quarterback in the transfer portal. So this is kind of my thoughts on him. I think I was a little nervous about his passing ability, right? 12 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. That's a high turnover rate. And then he had the 10 fumbles. I didn't like that number, right? I didn't love that number. So in total, 22 total turnovers that could directly be attributed to him. That's a lot. And I think there's going to be some friction between he and Witt at times. I don't think it's going to be smooth sailing from beginning to end this year with Dampier. That's my guess. But I do think when you did a deeper dive on the numbers, you saw that, his turnover worthy play percentage was really low. Like the fact that he went 12 touchdowns, 12 INTs with a more than 2-to-1 big time throw to turnover worthy play ratio seems like an anomaly. That seems very odd. And so he had a 6 touchdown, 0 interception season in 2023, and very dynamic as a runner in both seasons, and just an elite level player. I think that's what we're getting here, guys. I think we got a steal. I mean, just being real, I think the numbers at surface level make you more nervous than you should be, right? And then you dive a little deeper into it, and we are getting one of the best players in college football. This guy is very electric. Like I said, we're going to have to go out there. He's going to have to show it on the field. But we are getting a guy that made Jason Beck's offense the number 2 total yards per game offense in the country. And he's going to have a significantly better supporting cast around him. Yes, will he be going up against significantly better talent? Of course. But I think Utah's crew that's going to come around him and help him make this engine run. I mean, I see great things, guys. I think Dampier is going to be a rock star at Utah, and I think he's going to light up the football field. I am stoked for him to come out here and be a Ute. It should be a great time, guys. Before we get out of here, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We put out a ton of Utah Utes football content. And again, reminder, tell me what you guys think of Dampier. I want to know. I'm out of here. Go Utes.